What's going on, everyone? It's Organically David here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. As you know, this is the place to be where it comes to all things organic, all things holistic. So thank you for joining me on my journey as I strive to live organically and authentically in every single way, not just from a physical perspective, but also from a mental health perspective as well. Of course, my microphone died while I was making this video, and watched myself with my lips moving like I was watching one of those old movies with subtitles. But I wanted to get this content out, so hopefully my sound is okay coming through. It's not a very long video, but I wanted to get into what I guess I would consider part 4 of this series, where I talk about uniting conventional and holistic treatments for my wife, coaching her through her journey through cancer, through chemo, through surgery, through radiation that we talked about, and now we're at the end. We're just in the maintenance stage. And something that I did not talk a lot about was the caregiver's perspective on cancer, on caring for someone just in general. Doesn't have to be cancer. It could be anything. It could be any type of disease, any type of disorder. And that's what I wanted to talk about, just to help you through this process. Because there are a lot of emotions that are attached to what you are going through, what you have gone through, and what you're about to go through. And I think anytime I talk to anyone who, whether it's the care recipient or the caregiver, the number one emotion I hear a lot about is guilt. Feel guilty. The caregiver feels guilty for doing anything for themselves, anything that's going to benefit them. And then the person receiving care is going to feel guilt because they're having to receive care and they don't want to be a burden to you. And so we both feel guilty. So then how does it manifest? It then changes our level of care, because we're so focused on caregiving that we then put ourselves to the side, and then we don't get our needs met, and then oftentimes feel resentment. But then you feel guilty for being resentful, but because you didn't do what the things that you needed to do, even though that person never told you not to do the things for yourself. You just felt guilty just in general. And then you have the person receiving care. They feel guilty because they're a burden. And so they then they don't tell you everything. They leave out things. They don't tell you what they need, or they hide things. And then the need still needs to be met, but because you're feeling guilty of being a burden, you don't say anything, and that need never gets met. And then it creates this environment where we're starting to feel resentful, or we're starting to feel some kind of way about each other. But it all could have been avoided by just a few tips. And I understand the emotion as a person who is a caregiver. I understand the emotions that sometimes you're I wouldn't say frustrated. I never got frustrated. I was more of the person who felt guilt if I did anything that was not directly related to my wife's care. But I see that others, they may experience other emotions. And so I just want to give you a few tips to take along the way. And the first thing I want to say, make sure that you understand when it comes to whether it's giving care. Well, let's just start with giving care. If you are the caregiver, and this is more specifically to the person receiving care, it just show appreciation. I mean, we have to start off by acknowledging the dedication of our caregivers, what we have to go through in order to extend care. They selflessly pour into you, or they pour from their hearts out of love in support of you in whatever you're going through. So taking a moment to express your gratitude, a heartfelt gratitude, just like a simple thank you or a text or something that it can really go a long way just to show appreciation and being in a place of gratitude. I always say that no one has to do anything for you. Even if the title of who they are may require it. So like a spouse, for better or for worse, it requires for better or for worse. But still, you're never going to get anywhere if you don't show appreciation to that person. They're not going to put forth their best effort if you don't show them appreciation. So just be in a place of gratitude and appreciative of everything that a person does. Even if they may say, you don't have to thank me, whatever. No, just thank the person. It doesn't have to be a big fanfare, whatever, but just showing some appreciation. It can go a very, very long way in helping the person feel valued and their efforts to feel valued as well. And then open communication. Effective communication is important anyway, but it's very crucial for a strong caregiver-recipient relationship. Maintaining open lines of dialogue, which allows both parties to really understand each other's needs and concerns. I would say that for the care recipients, you don't do any good if you're not honest. So share your thoughts and your preferences, which also, while giving the space for the caregiver to express their own needs and limitations. So together we can find the best solution that caters to everyone's well-being. I think that's extremely important, to focus on just being honest. That's it, just being honest. And then something that's hard to do for both sides, but especially for the caregiver, I know on my side it was prioritizing self-care. Caregivers, often we put our own needs last, but it's essential to prioritize self-care. Because remember, taking care of yourself is not selfish. I don't care what the person tells you. It's not selfish. It is necessary. So take regular breaks. Engage in activities that you enjoy, and seek support from friends, family, or support groups. But I would caution you on how you vent to other people out of your frustration. Because that could be harmful in the long run. But taking care of yourself, you'll be better equipped to care for others. And then embrace empathy. Caregiving, it really can evoke a range of emotions, and one is guilt. It's so important to acknowledge and address these feelings. Recognize that it's important. It's normal to experience guilt, but also understand that you're doing the best you can in a challenging situation. So practicing some self-reflection, practice self-compassion, and just communicate openly with your caregiver or care recipient about these emotions. Whatever you're feeling, just communicate it. And now I would give a disclaimer, caveat here, that says at no point is it okay for you to communicate certain emotions onto the person receiving care. Because the person receiving care is not the one who's at 100%. You are. You are at 100%. That person who needs care, I can guarantee you, would wish that they were not the person needing to receive care. And you reminding them about how much of a burden they are, or how much of a challenge it is, and how frustrated I am, and I don't get to sleep, and I wish I was able to sleep, and all the other stuff. They're already feeling like that they are a burden to you anyway. And so you adding on to that and building that. So before you get to that place of frustration or resentment or whatever that emotion is, go out and maybe you need to have somebody stand in for you during particular times. I'd like to go and do this thing, whatever my hobby is. I need to offload and get off gas by myself for a moment. Let me go fishing. Let me go whatever it is that you do, and get somebody else to be the caregiver for a few hours, just to get your mind back together. And you're the person who's receiving care. You should take it as the person who gives you care would be a better caregiver if they had that time, that moment to get their mind right, to get back to normalcy. And when I'm rejuvenated, I'm going to be able to be a better caregiver for you. So together we can really create a supportive and understanding environment. We just got to be in a good place that we both can share information, how we're feeling, the processing, and but with that caveat of knowing that some things are just not right to feel and to say. I should say is a better way. Is some things you just don't say it. Say it to yourself. Take your breaks. Same way if you're receiving care, it's not your time to make the person feel guilty because they want to go out and relax for a minute. And I wish I could relax, but I got to get this chemo injected in me, and I wish I could have just go. This is not the time to compare and do all that stuff back and forth. It's childish and petty, and I understand everybody's frustrated that we have to go through this scenario, but it would be so much easier. The environment would be so much easier if we would create a supportive and understanding environment that we both have needs, desires, wants, and it's just, there's a wrench thrown into it based off of this particular situation. So that's important. Keep that going. And then I would tell you, make sure that you're seeking out your resources. Don't hesitate to seek out available resources and support networks. Take advantage of it, whether that's an online platform, it's a local support group, local organizations, professional caregivers, or just family and friends who can stand in the gap for you. They can offer some valuable assistance to you just to give you a break, to give a change, and then allow someone else to be involved that can provide some guidance here and just some practical tips. Just, if nothing else, just to be able to take a break and regroup and get it back together. That's part of being on a team. That's part about being on a team is holding your fellow person up in order to support them throughout their journey. So whether you are a caregiver or a care recipient, just foster a place of gratitude. Just show appreciation, a culture of respect, and acknowledge the efforts of everyone who's doing something for you. I know you're frustrated. I know you're going through it, but your caregivers are doing the best they can. If they are, they are. Communicate openly, prioritize your self-care, and embrace empathy, and seek out your resources. These are some tips that will help you along the way throughout your journey. Together we can make this caregiving journey a little brighter and alleviate some of the challenges that are associated with it, because this is a challenging situation. But we're all doing the best we can. If we are doing the best we can, we are doing the best we can. So if this helped you, if you feel like this is helpful, please share these tips and with someone, and like and subscribe to my channel. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and let me know down in the comments below, what are some tips that help you get through the caregiving, and what are the emotions that you feel as the caregiver or as the person receiving care. But if you don't remember anything else, always say, let's love life and make sure that you're living your best life. And hopefully your best life means that you're